morning, Grapes and Peas. Hey, Ollie, can you say hi? Say hi. Oh, bye. He's off chasing a squirrel. Hey, last week we talked about Pentecost. Remember that big fancy word for just that God was sending a helper? We talked about the flames on people's heads. Well, today we're going back to the Jesus Storybook Bible. This is one of my favorite stories. And it's from the book of Matthew. It's also found in one of the other books of the Bible called Mark. And so we're just going to keep working our way through some of the stories of Jesus. And this one's called The Captain of the Storm. Do you guys see? They're floating on the water. All right, let's find out what happens. The sun was going down. The air was warm and still. Let's go across the lake, Jesus said to his friends. Jesus had been helping people all day, and now he was tired, so they left the crowds at the shore and set out in a small fishing boat. Jesus climbed into the boat to take a nap. He was tired. As soon as his head touched the pillow, he fell asleep. It was a beautiful evening. A gentle breeze rustled the sails. The friends were chatting happily as they headed into the middle of the lake. Everything was perfect, just right for a quiet sail. Uh-oh. I feel like something might happen. What do you think? Give me a thumbs up if you think something good's gonna happen or something not so good's gonna happen. Look at our picture. This is definitely a thumbs down. They were only about halfway across when out of nowhere, whirling winds swept across the lake, fierce and strong like a hurricane. Pastor John grew up in Florida, and I know he's been through a hurricane, and it sounds scary to me. A blinding flash of lightning lit up the sky. Thunder roared right overhead. The storm blew the water into towering waves that hurled the little boat up and up and up, and then sent it hurtling, crashing back down and down. I think I would be very scared. The fishing boat was blown and buffeted and tossed and turned back and forth and up and down and left and right and round, and in the middle of the storm, Jesus was sleeping. What? Now, Jesus' friends had been fishermen all their lives, but in all their years of fishing on this lake, they had never once seen a storm like this one. No matter how hard they struggled with their ropes and sails, they couldn't control the boat. This storm was too big for them. Look at the lightning. There's the boat on these big waves. I would be freaking out. But the storm wasn't too big for Jesus. Help! They screamed. Wake up! Quick! Jesus! Jesus opened his eyes. Rescue us! Save us! They shrieked. Don't you care? Of course Jesus cared, and this was the very reason he had come, to rescue them and to save them. Jesus stood up and spoke to the storm. Hush, he said, and that's all. And the strangest thing happened. What do you think is going to happen? Did you see Jesus sleeping in the boat with all the waves? Holy crazy Moses. What do you think happened? The wind and the waves recognized Jesus' voice. They had heard it before, of course. It was the same voice that created them, that made them in the very, very beginning. They listened to Jesus and they did what he said. Immediately, the wind stopped, the water calmed down, the glittering innocently in the moonlight, and lapped quietly against the side of the boat as if nothing had happened. The little boat bobbed gently up and down. There was a deep stillness and a great quiet all around. Then Jesus turned to his wind-worn friends and said, "Why were you scared?" Pause. He asked them, "Did you forget who I am? Did you believe your fears instead of me?" Jesus' friends were quiet. They were as quiet as the wind and the waves, and into their hearts came a different kind of storm. What kind of man is this? They asked themselves anxiously. Even the wind and the waves obey him? They said, because they didn't quite understand who Jesus was. They didn't yet realize that Jesus was the Son of God. Jesus' friends had been so afraid that they only had seen the big waves. They had forgotten that if Jesus was with them, they had nothing to be afraid of, no matter how small their boat was or how big the storm was. Look, what a peaceful night. So I think for us to remember, there are lots of things that we can be afraid of. but none of them are bigger or stronger than Jesus. And Jesus came to rescue us from all those things. So I love this story, and I love that picture of the calm sky and their little boat just floating. So, hi Ollie. So remember that Jesus is the calmer of the storm. I'll see you guys next week.